So Tara, our first question today, and these both our questions actually are within the realm of marriage, so it kind of goes in with our article topic.
Mhm.
Says, my husband and I are Christians. We have a lot of marital issues, but a major issue is he wants anal sex and I don't. Is that wrong of me? Me?
Hmm. Well, goodness, I just can hear, I hear such a sense of guilt around your boundaries, right? And I think that I want to speak to a couple different things that I'm hearing in that question. And one is that we have to respect one another's boundaries in marriage, right? That I cannot impose or force what I want onto my spouse without their willingness, right? That's what we call abuse. And so obviously that's not the intention here. But this is something where we have to be honoring of one another, right? If to honor our husband or to honor our wife means to respect their boundaries. And so, no, is it wrong of you to not want this? No, absolutely not. I will also say that we really can't separate sex from all of those other marital issues that this person is implying, right? That my ability to have fun and play in sex is directly related to how connected and intimate and vulnerable I can feel with my husband or my wife, right? And so right, we can't separate those two. They're kind of mirror images of one another. And so I would say like those marital issues are affecting like how free you feel to explore in your sexuality. And so those things definitely go together. And so I would say like don't wait. One of the things I write in another article that I have coming out shortly is that the average couple waits 6 years, are in distress for 6 years before coming to marriage therapy. And by that point, sometimes people are past their breaking point and they're kind of just doing lip service by coming to therapy. So like, don't wait. And I guess that's really the thing that I want to say about that is like, hey, get some help, even if it's not like, it doesn't have to be the end of the world and like the end of the relationship for you to seek therapy. Come in preventatively, come in while things are not terrible, before you dislike your partner, right? While you still like each other, come in and we can just help strengthen that.
No, I really appreciate that. I'm just curious. I know this wasn't part of the submitter view question, but if someone, maybe you're married and you feel like you want to start going to therapy to start getting help, but your spouse doesn't, does that happen ever within therapy, or would you handle that then?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think that we can do a lot of work individually. I think we can do a lot of, oftentimes what we find is what happens in marriage is that the wounds of our childhood get projected onto our spouse. And our spouse bumps up against these unhealed wounds. What Sue Johnson, who was the founder of EFT, says, these are called raw spots. And so what happens is there's this unhealed wound that we brought into the marriage with us, and our spouse keeps bumping up against it, right? So there's a lot that I can do individually with just one party to heal that original wound. That's going to help you to be not so reactive and responsive to what your spouse is doing. But that's still kind of half of the equation, right? The best I can do is 50%, right? In that situation, right? So that kind of puts a bit of a cap on, how much we can really create change. But we do know that when you create change in one part of a system, it creates change in the whole system, right? And so, yeah, I would say like that's definitely a dynamic where it's, one partner is just not willing to come. And you can't make them, again, kind of going back to this idea of boundaries, right? Like you have to respect their boundary that they don't want to do that yet. And some people, unfortunately, have a really high threshold for suffering, and they suffer for a long time before they ever get help. And I would just kind of implore people to just like lower that threshold. You're not meant to be self-sufficient. There's no shame in coming, and like let yourself be helped, let yourself be healed. There is no shame in that, right? Like we are working to restore God's design for your life.